You applied for business funding, you did everything right, you filled out the application, maybe you even called the bank and they still said no. Here's the part that nobody tells you. It wasn't your business that got rejected, it was your profile. And those two things are completely different things. Stick with me over the next 10 minutes because I'm going to walk you through the exact thing that underwriters are looking for. The stuff that they don't publish, that I reverse engineered by getting approved for over $500,000 in business credit. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Most business owners believe that if their business is solid, funding will follow. Good idea, decent revenue, and a clean and well-structured LLC, that should be good enough, right? So they walk into the bank or fill out the online application and then they wait. And the answer comes back, not approved. Or they're approved for a laughably small limit like $5,000 when they actually need $50,000. And the worst part, no explanation, no roadmap, just a soft rejection with a phone number that loops you to a call center. So then they try again, different bank, same result. And slowly they convince themselves that business funding just isn't meant for people like them. That you need connections or a long track record or $1 million in revenue before anyone takes you seriously. That belief, that story is costing businesses like yours hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year. That's what's actually happening. Banks aren't reading your business plan. They're not checking your Instagram or your website. When an underwriter evaluates your application, they're running through a checklist, a risk scoring model. Your personal credit profile is the centerpiece of that model. Specifically, they're looking at 5 things. Number 1, your FICO score. Not your Vantage score, but your FICO score. Most people check Credit Karma and they think they're good, but banks pull from FICO. And the gap between the two numbers can be 20, 30, even 50 points. Number 2, your credit utilization. If you're using more than 30% of your available credit on your personal credit cards, you're already looking sketchy to the banks. High utilization signals risk, even if you're paying everything on time. You actually have to pay it early to reflect a low balance. Number 3, your account mix. Underwriters want to see a variety: installment loans, revolving credit, different types. A thin profile, even with a decent score, reads unprovable, untrustworthy. Number 4, recent hard inquiries. Every time you apply for credit, you get a hard inquiry. Multiple hard inquiries in a short window, especially from the same bureau, will tank your approval odds. You look desperate. Number 5, recently opened accounts. Similar to the point above, the more recently opened accounts you have, the lower chance you have on getting approved. This is why you need to be extremely strategic on the personal credit accounts you are applying for. Every personal account should be applied for a very specific reason. Is it a tier 1 bank? Is it a high limit card? Is it at a bank that is beneficial to build a credit relationship with? And by the way, you should never apply for more than 2 personal credit cards in a 6-month window. So the question isn't whether your business deserves funding. The question is, what does your credit profile look like to the person on the other side of that application? When I first started figuring this out, I made every mistake in the book. I applied to multiple banks back to back. I didn't know about FICO versus Vantage score. My credit utilization was around 40%. My first business credit approval was $5,000. That's it. And I almost took it, but something felt off. So I started digging. I pulled up my actual FICO report, not my Credit Karma, and I started studying what the banks were actually measuring. I got obsessed with it. I read underwriting guidelines, I talked to bankers, high-level bankers, and I studied declined applications. And I started to see a pattern. The banks aren't arbitrary. They're not against you. They're running a formula. And once you know the formula, you can optimize it legally, ethically, and strategically. I went from a $5,000 approval to over $500,000 in business credit in just 14 months. And I'm going to show you exactly how. The system I use is called credit stacking. And despite the name, it's not complicated. It's a 3-step process: profile optimization, strategic application sequencing, and credit building. Here's the key insight that changes everything. Business credit cards do not report to your personal credit. That means you can carry balances of $50,000, $200,000, $250,000 in business credit, and your personal credit score stays clean. That separation is what makes it scalable. It's what allows you to stack multiple lines of credit across multiple lenders without each one knowing about the others. But, and this is critical, you have to do it in the right order. Most people who try this on their own make the mistake of applying for too many cards too fast from the same credit bureau. That triggers inquiry stacking and kills your approval odds. Step 1 is getting your personal credit profile to what I call approval ready. This means your FICO score is at 720 or above, your utilization is below 30%. You have at least 2 or 3 accounts with solid history and no recent late payments. Step number 2 is application sequencing. Different banks pull from different credit bureaus: Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. If you apply to the right banks in the right order, then you don't stack too many hard inquiries on a specific credit bureau in too short of a time frame. Step number 3 is building. Once you have initial approvals, you're not done. Request credit line increases at the 6-month mark using your card strategically, 10 to 15% utilization to show good activity, or at least you can show a good demonstration of spending on the card and paying it off responsibly. Oftentimes, people are just denied for identity verification. But if you can usually get this sorted out. People who follow this process are typically getting $50,000 up to $250,000 in zero interest business credit. Some higher depending on your profile. You weren't rejected because your business isn't good enough. You were rejected because you walked into the system blind without knowing the scoring system. That's fixable. The first thing you should do after this video is pull up your actual FICO score, not Credit Karma. Go to myscoreiq.com. We'll put a link down below. Look at your utilization, look at your credit mix, and look at your inquiry count in the last 6 and 12 months. That's the starting point. If you want help walking through this step by step, or if you want our team to execute this entire strategy for you, there's going to be a link down in the description. It's a free strategy call. We'll figure out where you're at and what path makes sense for you. I put out this level of detail regularly, no fluff, no courses to sell you mid-video, just real frameworks. So subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.